Hey everyone, I wanted to just make a quick video going over those style sheets again. I figured this would be easy to refer back to when you're working on the assignment this week and also when you're working on the assignment next week and in week 4, because we're going to use these style sheets for the next 3 weeks. So I'm just going to create a new document real quick. And I also wanted to show you an easy way to create the tabs as well. There's kind of 2 different ways you can do it. I showed one way in the live session yesterday, and I'm going to show you another way right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 columns like I did yesterday. I'm going to make my gutter 0.5. And the reason why I'm making my gutter 0.5 is I want to make sure that it doesn't look like the text is running from one column directly into the other column of text. And remember yesterday, I went in and I drew 2 different text boxes. And I'll turn on my keycaster for you guys too, so that way it shows the keys up on the screen. All right, I'm going to open up the text. I'll do the text from Walk and Roll this time. I did the text from Maxwell's during our live session. So yesterday what I was saying is what I like to do is kind of just set this up in Word first, so that way I can see, all right, I know that this is going to be kind of a headline, this is kind of going to be a sub-headline. I like to put in the tabs where they go and just kind of get the file ready for myself, and it also provides me a visual. So for Walk and Roll, certain things are going to be headlines, like this word for walk. The items, I'm just going to bold them right now. And these styles don't carry over to InDesign, but again, it just gives me a visual when I'm going in. This will be another headline. So that way I can see very quickly, you know, what I need to grab and make a certain style once I'm in InDesign. I like to have that visual to work with. Another headline. And then I like to do things like this sometimes in italic, you know, your choice of one of the following. Make these bold. Make these bold, and then the different types of soft drinks, I'll probably make those italic. All right, perfect. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of this text and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it into this text box, but it's not all going to fit. So as you can see, it's really hard to see. I'm going to show it on the screen. I'm going to take a screenshot. I kind of did this yesterday too. There's this red box here with a plus sign. I need to click on that red box with the black arrow and then select the box next to it. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow me to paste any text that's running over. It's going to fill this container. So again, I'm on my black arrow, click. I have to select the box first and then click on the red box. And see how it gives me this icon that looks like 2 linking chains with some text there? When I'm hovering over my second text box, that's when I get that icon. Otherwise, I get what looks to be two sides of a square with an arrow, and that would let you draw another text box, but I already have that text box drawn. And I'm going to click in here. Now, when I make my text larger or smaller or whatever I want to do, it moves and flows through the two text boxes. So I'm not constantly selecting things, moving them over, selecting things, moving them over. It just makes it far more efficient to edit your text that way. All right, going back and looking at my Word file, these are my headlines: wok, rolls, sashimi, and beverages. Now, I was saying in the live session yesterday that because the walk and roll logo is in Futura, you probably would want to use Futura as a font in your menu. You can also try to see if you can find an Asian font in Adobe Fonts. We can take a quick look and see if we can find a good one. That might be a good headline font. Would probably be decorative, maybe a heading. Although this could be fun for the headlines. This Acier. Let's go with that because it's easy to read. It kind of looks like a colored in version of Futura, and it kind of mimics the logo a little bit. So Acier, I already have that one loaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my paragraph styles. So I have my paragraph styles and my character styles open. If they're not open on your machine, go to Window, and you can go to Styles and manually open them through there. Now, I want to make a paragraph style because I'm going to be doing the whole line each time with that style. So I'm going to do New, double click. I'm going to call this headline. Under Basic Character Formats, I'm going to select that Acier font. I'm not quite sure the difference in them. Let me double check. It's got 5 fonts in there. Text all, text outline, text strokes. So I want the text noir. Probably, I'm going to guesstimate on 30-point type, but we might need to change that. And then I always like to give a little bit of space underneath. So I'm going to go to indents and spacing, and where it says space after, I'm going to put this at 0.0625. And for character color, I'm going to open up the logo and make it that red. So let me open up their logo in Illustrator. If you get that error, just say, okay. And this is just 100% and 100%. Honestly, that's easy enough to just recreate. It's a standard red. I just wanted to double check. For now, I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to make that red in my swatches. So I'm going to go to New. I'm going to call it Walk and Roll Red. And I'm going to make it 100% magenta, 100% yellow, and 0% black. and hit OK. Make sure it's process and CMYK. And what I can do now is double click on headline, go to character style, and change it here, and just hit OK. Now I accidentally had a piece of text that was selected that was not the right text. So I'm going to change that one back to basic paragraph, and I'm going to go into walk, click on headline, rolls, click on headline, sashimi, and beverages. Perfect. And then I'm going to make a style that is for my my body copy, and it's going to just be Futura. So again, paragraph style, double click over to the side. I'm going to name this body copy. And under basic character formats, I'm going to do Futura 12/15. I'm gonna leave that, and character color I'm going to change back to black. I accidentally, if you go up to general, you can base this off of no paragraph style, and that way it'll kind of default back to the regular things. But I'd already started doing it accidentally based off of headline. And I don't want any indents and spacing until I look at that, and I'll click OK. So now, basic character form. Oh, I just want Futura medium. There we go. I was like, that looks really condensed. So now I'm going to grab all of this and make my body copy. Oh, and beverages should have been a headline. Perfect. Oh, missed one. And some people like to just go in and make everything the body copy first so they don't miss any lines, and then just change those headlines. You can do it either way. Kind of showing you both ways. Great. Now the next thing I want to do, I'm going to actually use a character style for, and it is to just bold the items, and make another one to just italicize this and change the color of your choice of one of the following. So I'm going to click Create New Style, double click, and my basic character formats, I'm going to change this to bold, and then I'm going to leave it at black and none. Or I could have not changed anything there actually. So let me cancel that. Hold on. Double click. I'm going to name this bold. Under basic character formats, under font style, I'm just going to change it to bold and not change anything else, and hit OK. Let's see how that worked. And there it is. Now this one's bold. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Create a new style. And this one I'm going to call red italic. And again, where it says bold, I'm going to change it to either oblique will work or italic will work. Oblique is the same as italic. And I'm going to change the character color to the walk and roll red with no outline, and just hit OK. And let me try. I might actually need to find italic here. Or medium italic. Or medium oblique? Let's see. Nope. Might be easier for me to just actually change the font and find which one it is. Medium italic, that's what I thought. All right, okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna go in and just bold the items I want bold. And we'll worry about reformatting everything after we get all of the text in and after we get all of the other items in. I'm gonna make these the red italic too. The images in. Now, yesterday, what I had done is I had shown you how to create tabs by using the paragraph styles. And I get it, that can be a little bit confusing because it's kind of hard to see. So I'm going to show you another way as well. And I'm okay with you adding the tabs in either way, just as long as you have that tab with the leader that you're putting in. So let me zoom in a little. I'm just going to zoom in to just this column right here, because what I'm doing is going to, it's going to work for both columns. Move these out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to select all of my text and I'm going to come up to Type, Tabs, and you'll notice how it puts the ruler right from the start of my text box to the other side to the end of my text box. That's what I want. And if you accidentally move it, just close it and then reopen it again. And it will put it back where it's supposed to go. All right, so each of these items has a period in it. So there's kind of two different ways when it comes to prices, how you can set up. And this is what I meant, like if you kind of move things out of the way. Let's just close that for a moment and go back up to the top. Select the text box again. All right, here we go. I just wanted you to be able to see it, basically. So you can, when it comes to prices, you can align it to the last number, which is the way I would suggest, or you can align it to the period, which is another great way to do it, but it can be a little bit weird to try to figure it out. If you're not really fluent with tabs, what I would say is to align it to the right-hand side. So all the numbers have the dot and then they end at the end of the text box. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do right, click on right, and see how it gives me the arrow and it shows me where it's going to end. Try to get as close as you can to the edge. Now here's the thing, you have to have a tab in there. So we need to select the space and hit tab. And it moves it over. But what we want is we want there to be dots in between the item and the price. You've probably seen that a bunch of times on a menu that you've looked at and you've wondered to yourself, do they put the dots in manually? They do not. Right here where it says leader, put a period in and hit enter. And it puts them all in for you. It puts the exact number in for you. So I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to select the space and hit tab. Select the space, hit tab. and just go throughout my menu and do that. So it adds all those tabs in. And this is why we align to the right. Because if we had aligned to the left, I'll just show you really quickly, which would be this one. It's going to, it would have bumped the 1095, it bumps them all to the end. And they don't line up. See how there's extra spaces? So that's why you want to do it to the right, to that last number. It just lines it up so much nicer. And you can close this out when you're done. And anytime that you open it back up to make any adjustments, you're going to have to select that, that arrow again. And if you're having a hard time selecting the arrow, sometimes it's easier to just click on and delete the arrow and start over. That's what I found. And whenever I have two items like this, like the milks, I grab the first one and I just do this. And actually, I would probably set it up as the red italic for the large and the red italic for the small. Because it's kind of a description of the item. Perfect. And I think I'm gonna move these up and put a bullet point in between. If you're on a Mac, a bullet point is option 8. Probably move Mountain Dew. And I'll just center these manually. Great. Now we have some great images that came with Walk and Roll. So I am going to go in and open up the 4 images that came with it. Even if you used the images on the cover already, there's no reason that you can't repeat them on the menu portion. When a customer has photos taken, they always want to use their photos. And again, we need to save these as 300 DPI, and we need to save them as CMYK. So I'm going to go up to image mode, change it to CMYK, and image size, and I'm going to check the DPI. So this one's at 200, I want to change it to 300, and then click OK. Then do a file, save as, and I'm going to put it in. I'm not going to save over the original one just because I use this a lot of times. You guys can save over the original one that you downloaded. That's completely fine. And make a Rock and Roll folder. Close. Do the same thing here. And I don't mind if you follow this layout. At this point, I want to make sure that you're understanding how to use the tools in InDesign. So I don't mind if you follow the layout to lay out the menu portion. I don't remember if I changed the other one, that last one, the noodles, to 300 dpi. I'm gonna have to open that up. I did not. It was at 350 though, which would have been completely fine. All right, so I've got some noodles, I've got some rolls, and yeah, let's see. So let me do this. And you have to use at least 2 of the 3. So we have a bleed here. So I am going to draw a rectangle box right here and do a file place. I'm going to grab this one. And I want it to fit proportionally. So I'm going to go to Object, Fitting. I want to fit the content proportionally. I'm going to have to manually expand it because of that white area that was already in there. I'm going to bring it right out to the bleed. So it'll very subtly cut those off. I have all of my keys turned on right now, just so that way if it's not a command key, you can see what I'm doing, but it can get a little annoying when I'm holding the space bar. This is the space bar. All right, and then I had noodles. So I am going to add my noodles kind of in the middle of these 2 items. So what I want to do is I'm going to put my cursor right in between these 2 items. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can do a Command D and place it right in, which kind of makes it a little bit weird to try to get it to fit in correctly. Or you can, which is the way I like to do it, use your rectangle tool. It's just so much to get it where it's supposed to be. Use your rectangle tool, draw the rectangle, go up to File, Place those noodles in. Object, Fitting, I want to fill the frame proportionally. And then I'm going to grab this rectangle box with my black arrow tool, and I'm going to hit Command X. I'm going to put my cursor in again, and I'm going to hit Command V. And why are you not bumping it down? I'm going to add a second return in. It's in there. It is definitely anchored in there. I don't know why it's not anchoring it down. That's okay. You can manually return it down. And open that up. Perfect. So that's an easy way to add in the 2 photos on the back, and maybe if you wanted to, you could scoot the 3rd photo over here. You know, move the beverages down a little and adjust these tabs That would be the way that I would do it. So go up to type. If you do want to do this, tabs. And you might need to manually move it over to this line. And then move just those 3 lines. So you need to select just those 3 lines and put the leader on again. And close. And then you might even just do something like this. Or delete that. Probably add an extra return in and delete one of those returns. Ah, man, I can't even see what I'm doing here. Yeah, here. Move that up. And bring this text box to the front. Or put, if you have your files set up with different layers, that's another way you can do it. Object, arrange, bring to the front. There we go. Just want to make sure that the white isn't there. And then I'm going to draw probably right over to the bleed. File place. I'll grab that tall sushi image. Go up to object, fitting, and I want to fill the frame proportionally. And you can set it up like that. I'll bump that down just a smidge so it's not, the beverages aren't right on top of it. And I'm going to show you how to make just a colored background at this point. So maybe you want like a red background and with white behind the text. Draw a rectangle that goes from bleed line to bleed line. Send it to the back. And then what we want to do is we don't want to just colorize this text box by clicking on the text box and making it white. Because see how the text goes right up to the edge and it's just, it doesn't look very good that way. So let's turn this back to none. We want to actually make a white rectangle that goes a little bit larger than each of the columns. So I'm going to zoom in. And we're going to grab the rectangle tool, not the rectangle frame tool. And at this point, I should have some layers going, but I just want to kind of show this quickly. So see how it goes from a little bit past the edge here and a little bit past the edge here? I'm going to actually select both of them and center them and make sure my text is up against the margin. So move the text box back over to be up against the margin. And before you've dragged it down, select your text box if you're following along with me and go to Object, Arrange, and bring it to the front. It'll just make your life easier. And then select that back one, make it white, and zoom out. And then you can drag it down. Drag it all the way down so it runs into the white of this one. And then we're going to select it. We're going to make a copy of it. So we're going to say Edit Copy. And then we're going to select this one first before we move it. And we're going to say Arrange, Bring to Front, and then select this. Because the copy, and then we're going to say Edit, Paste in Place. And now bring it to the front. Sorry, I thought we had pasted it. Bring it to the front. And we're going to just drag it over. Hold down the shift key while you're dragging. And then we're gonna have to move this photo to the front again. So select your photo, arrange, bring to front. But this is why working in layers is so important, because that would have made it so much easier. But I was doing a demo from a new document, not the document I was working in that had my layers. So if you're working in your original document, you can put your background, you know, on the background layer, and then that'll make this so much easier. Okay, let's save this. So I'm going to just save this quickly as walk and roll. You should save this as the correctly named file. And then we're gonna go over one more time, packaging this file and submitting it and making the PDF with the crop marks. In the live session, the assignment portion, which is completely separate from the other live session video, I showed exactly how to make those crop and bleed marks, how to make the setting for you. So go refer back to that. Then you're going, because I will take off points this week if your PDF does not have the crop and bleed marks. You're gonna go to File, Package, double check everything, make sure you don't have any issues, click the Package button. I'm going to make a walk and roll. Mine's going to be named walk and roll folder. Yours is going to be named the correct naming convention because you named it names it off of the name of your PDF. Make sure you include a PDF with those marks and bleeds and hit package and then hit OK. Let's go in and find our package folder. It's in week 2, walk and roll folder. Make sure you're selecting the right one, because the walk and roll folder should have document fonts, links, an IDML file, an INDD file, and a PDF file. Double check your PDF. Make sure that it has the crop and bleed marks and the registration bar. Then you're going to select that folder and either hit Control click or right click, depending on your mouse. And you're going to do compress walk and roll folder, or whatever yours is called, and upload the zip file that way. All right. So you can definitely follow along with this. You can make the same exact menu. That is okay. I just want to make sure that you understand how to use each of the tools in InDesign this week. I'm more concerned with your knowing the tools than with you coming up with your own designs as of right now. So again, I'm definitely allowing you to do this so that way you can kind of relieve the frustration of, you know, the design portion and learn how to do it with the tools. If you feel like you're a little bit more proficient in InDesign, please feel free to, you know, to get crazy this week and do your own design. So I hope that this is really helpful to you.